Welcome back to eSIMstudios. Got a special case review for the OnePlus 15. This is the stock factory Sandstone case for the OnePlus 15. You can get this on their website right now. It's up to 30% off. You can get it at just $17.49. We'll get into all the features. We'll throw it on the phone, and I'll tell you the difference between this one and the one that they show you here on their website. I'm going to link it down below so you can check it out for yourself. But it is for the OnePlus 15. I do have the black model here, and I got a couple of requests for this one. I didn't think I would get a lot, but I did get some. And I'm like, you know what? There's really not much to it, but hey, people want to see it, so I will show it. And it has a really nice feature that we'll get into. So this is interesting. Actually, let me open up the link and see exactly. Well, let's see what it's made of. I believe it's just a TPU case. Now, this will look good on the Sandstone. It basically goes good with any color that you get. Obviously, the black one looks good on the black, and we'll throw it on in a second. But as you can tell there in the picture, they have it with the Sandstone OnePlus 15, which looks nice, and even the purple one I think would look decent in there. Does it say what it's made of? It's only offered in black, and as you can tell, I'm scrolling down and there's not much other information listed, but it's pretty basic, but we will get into it nonetheless. I know some of y'all that have this phone might want to get just a factory case, and this one just might do it, right? You may not be much of a case person, and the aramid fiber case that they have, the $30 might be, or $27.99, $28 might just be a little bit over your budget, and you may just want to get something basic, and this will definitely fill that void, fill those needs for you. So I think after my case, I'm a case specialty, I'm a case specialist, a caseologist, I guess you could say. I think this is just TPU. It's pretty flexible, as you can tell here. It bends in all sorts of different ways. Now, it's not like your traditional cases where the borders will, the sides and the top and bottom will be a bendable TPU, and then a typical case you'll have a hard polycarbonate PC back where it doesn't really flex much, but this one appears to be all TPU. Now, there's an advantage there because this is really lightweight. Polycarbonate weighs more than TPU. TPU is a lightweight, flexible material, and as you can see here, pretty flexible, and it hardly weighs anything at all, right? Now, on the inside, you get this nice little design. You have the Never Settle. Can you see that in there? There you go. The Never Settle little engraved logo in there. And you don't get much else. Look, it's got a few cool features we'll get into. There are no air pockets. That's one thing I always check for whenever I do a case review. Are there air pockets? Is there air cushion technology, which is basically like an airbag in a car, right? You want to have that protection for impact. There is none here. Actually, is there? This is an all black case, so it's kind of hard to see in there. It looks like there is a minor air pocket. So there is, I beg your pardon. There is a sort of an air cushion on all four corners. Now, check this out. You get a flap. Now, we're going to plug it in, and we're going to test that out. So you have a flap for your Type-C port. You have cutouts for your microphones, a nice cutout for the speaker. I'm sure that lines up perfectly. And then up top, you have your cutouts as well up there. Now, look at this. So here on the side, on the right side, you have your power button down below, volume down, volume up. The volume down and volume up are labeled. So you get the minus sign for the volume down, you get the plus sign for the volume up. Now there's no cutouts, meaning on some cases they'll have a cutout where the buttons are. You'll see a little see-through slit on the bottom and a little see-through slit up top. That makes it easy for the buttons to be pushed. Now this is a very thin case. This is so thin and the material is so flexible, you're not going to need cuts. You're not going to need slits where the buttons are because they're just very easy to push in. You also have a button here for the action button up top, and that's just a blank button as well. No labeling on there. And on the back, you get the OnePlus logo. Would be cool if they can I get it to reflect? It would be cool if that was red, but it's a very subtle case, and I think they did that for a reason. Now I'm gonna throw it on the phone. I think they did this for a reason. I think they made it inconspicuous, meaning like kind of blends in with there, because I was using this case 2 days ago, right? I switch cases. I use like a couple different cases every day. I'm always switching them out, seeing what I like, what I don't like. And I had this one on 2 days ago, and I can't remember what I was doing. I think I was walking around in the kitchen. I reached for my phone, and I picked my phone up, but without thinking about it, I just reached for it, picked it up, and the first thought that came to my mind was, "Holy crap! I don't have a case on my phone." I was like, "Damn! I gotta go grab a case." I can't believe I forgot to put a case on my phone. And I was walking into my studio to grab a case. I grabbed a case and I went to go put it on, and I was like, "Holy crap! I do have a case on it." I think OnePlus made this lightweight. I think they made it inconspicuous, meaning no label. I think it's a basic one-to-one color match for a reason. And that's for it looks and feels as if there's no case on your phone. So if you don't like to use cases, but you do want to protect your OnePlus, it's an absolute joy to use. I have not put this thing down since I got it. It lasts for days. It takes freaking 30 minutes to charge up. The operating system is phenomenal. If you love this phone, you're going to want to protect it. And if you're not a case person, if you don't like to add bulk, you're going to want to get this OnePlus Sandstone case, because it feels like you're not even using a case. Now, there's some features here that I like that they made. So just like a Rinky case that I recorded a couple days ago, I pointed out with Rinky, they do a really cool thing and it's really overlooked. Not many people think about it and or even notice it. However, they give you added protection, screen protection, and let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. So if you look on the far side, over here where my finger is, you look at the case here. So look at the bottom. You see how it lifts up at the bottom? See how there's more material here than here? See how it comes up? And then look at the opposite side, right here, right? Where it comes up right here. Well, that is to give you more distance between, God forbid you drop your phone, the surface of the ground and your glass display. The more space there is between your glass and whatever it falls on, the better chance of you having your phone surviving a drop, right? Now look at the top of the phone. Same thing with the top. On this far side, comes up towards the top, and on the opposite side, comes up towards the top. Now, not only helps preserve your display, meaning if you drop it, it gives that added material there to absorb that impact, but it's like twofold. So look, you can kind of see it here too. Very, very cool. It helps you grip the phone. So if it was this height, I'm talking about this height over here, if it was this tall all around the phone, it makes it a little bit harder to use your phone, right? There's more distance, there's more material. It would be more material on the sides, so it would make it harder to grip and or make selections with your phone if you have something blocking your palm over on this side. But they slim it down on the sides, add the drop protection and material on the top and the bottom. So because when phones drop, the more than likely one corner is going to hit. It doesn't just fall on the ground and go boom and stay there. Or it doesn't just fall on the back and go boom and stay there. It's going to bounce around. The more material you have, the better on each corner, but it makes it easier to use as well. So a little stuff like that goes a long way, and I think that gets really overlooked by a lot of people. Now let's look at the camera protection. So over on the back, it provides some camera protection, minimal camera protection, but there's still some there, right? As you can see, it's not flush. It's actually, there is an increase of, what is that, a millimeter, maybe two millimeters up and over that camera island to protect it, right? for drops. Now, will it wobble? I think so. Yes. So that's a downside. Obviously, it wobbles a little bit if you use it while it's laying on its back. You know, sometimes when you text or do this, it'll actually, it's not that bad, honestly. If you go like this, but when you put two fingers, it'll wobble. But if you're texting, it actually stays pretty flat. Like, there's not much wobble at all. So actually, it's not that bad. We will, let me see if it's got clickies here. So the volume up and the volume down are silent. The volume up and volume down, I can't hear anything. The power, there is a click. Let me show you. Okay, so I'm gonna hit the power. Now let me hit the volume buttons. Hold it up to the mic. If there is, it's very, very subtle. And the action button, the same thing. There's no noise, no audio, no clicks whatsoever. So just the power button is clicky for whatever reason. And let's see here. Cutouts. Let's take a look here. Cutouts look good. At the bottom, we're going to test this cutout, the flap here. Cutouts look good there. You can see on each corner how it's raised a little bit on each corner. I actually like that. I really do. And I do have the factory installed screen protector on here. Now, it looks like I might need to switch to glass. I was holding out as long as possible just because I like to keep the factory screen protector on there as long as possible. But you can tell I've been using this phone, right? Like, there's a small, not a scratch, but you can see, like, right there. You see that right there? That's not on the display, the glass display. It's on the factory installed screen protector. I'm going to eventually put glass on here. I'm just holding off as long as I can, just because I think I just like the way it looks and feels right out of the box, right? It's almost like it's almost like there's nothing on there as far as screen protector, but there is. And let's see how far the case comes up to the screen protector. Let's see if I can get it in just the right light. You should see there you go, very small outline right in this corner where the screen protector is. So it comes right up to the screen protector, but it does not lift up on it whatsoever. Interesting. As you can see right there, and it's got a little cutout for that speaker, that little small speaker, that strip that's up there. So let's test this cutout here, okay? So it actually snaps into the port. So as you can see here, see that tab? So that tab actually does go into the USB Type-C port right there, and you can just snap it into place, and it's nice and flush. You don't even feel it, which is nice. It does protect the Type-C port from lint or dust or dirt or grime that gets in there. But it can be a hassle if you're trying to plug it in. Now, I have the stock OnePlus cable we're going to test. I have a Google Pixel cable, and I have a super, super fat Type-C cable where it's got a enormous head on there that we will try, because some phones in the past, not a lot, but there's been a few in the past, and or cases that I put on phones where the case is like so thick or so weirdly designed that big cables like this won't fit. You know, if you're like me, I don't plug this phone into my OnePlus charger every single time. I got tons of USB Type-C cables laying all around the house. All right, so I got the stock OnePlus cable right here. Let's plug it in and see if this is going to be a hassle or not. It's a cool design, does keep that port clean, but let's see if this is going to be a hassle for a lot of people. I have a feeling you're going to have to open it up with one finger while you plug in the cable, because doing it, just plugging it in like this, doesn't seem like it's going to work. It's rather firm, as you can see. If you pull it down, it just flips right back. So it's not loose at all. Will it get loose over time? I don't know, possibly, but should last some time. But let's see if we can get it in with one hand. Yeah, it's just you got to wiggle it in there, right? Now I should plug in my cable to show you it's charging. There we go. So it does work. Now, probably best idea is you might hold it down to make it easier. You might open it up with your thumb or another finger while you plug it in. And obviously, looks like that from behind. Not the most beautiful thing you've seen, and it does create a little hump right there, as you can tell. But it is what it is. Now, let's try the other ones, right? So let's try, obviously the Pixel charger will work because that's roughly the same size and or smaller than the OnePlus cable. Yep, that works. Now, these are not plugged in, but just showing you it works. Let's do the real test. Let's test this bad boy. This thing is really thick, as you can tell, very thick cable. I think that is for data cable, but it still charges. So let's give it a try. Yeah, shoot, it still works. It does create a little hump. It's a real thick cable, but look, it's not going anywhere. So if it can fit this cable, it'll fit all cables. This is about as thick as you will find. So that's the review of the Sandstone OnePlus case. Very nice looking case. Now, is it slippery? A little bit. So if there's a downside to this, it is minimal protection. It's very thin. However, it's slightly, I'm not going to say slippery, but I'll just say it's smooth, right? It's not slippery, but it is smooth. Now, it feels like you're using the phone. As I mentioned earlier, I didn't even realize this was on there. Honestly, I just didn't think about it. I was like, damn, I got to grab a case. Holy crap, it already has a case on there. So it looks like the phone. It feels like the phone. And I think OnePlus did that on purpose. Again, for people that don't necessarily like to use cases, but they want to have something on there to protect their phone, this is going to be the case for you. So I'll put a link down below in the description. If you got any questions whatsoever in regards to this case, hit me up. I check my comments every day. So appreciate the time, and I will see y'all on the next one. Peace out.